It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder.
What's up, everybody? I want to thank you for watching Classic Midnight Movie Reviews and Retrospective with me, Matt. And today I will be reviewing 1981's The Funhouse. Directed by the late, great master of horror himself, Tobe Hooper. He passed away last year. God rest his soul. You know, I would say this was quite a, you know, underrated little midnight movie gem that he directed. And, you know, he was famous for doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1 and 2. You know, Salem's Lot, Life Force, Invaders from Mars. You know, the list goes on. But this is one of my favorite films by him. I really like. I don't think it's as good as Chainsaw 1 or 2 or Eaten Alive, or Poltergeist for that matter. You know, which arguably was probably directed by Steven Spielberg. Scream Factory released this Blu-ray. They did a pretty good job on it, I'd say. It was a little grainy, but I almost like that because it's an old film. So, you know. But it's other than that, it's a good Blu-ray. The special features are a little limited. There's audio commentary by Tobe Hooper, moderated by film director Tim Sullivan, audio interview with William Finley, theatrical trailer, TV spots, you know, no making of, so. But, you know, the film's pretty good. It seems to follow in the footsteps of Halloween, because this was released like right after Halloween, basically. You know, and it's a slasher movie, but I would say it's just got that formula more so. You know, the body count thing, but it doesn't really emphasize on that. It's not like Friday the 13th. It's more like Halloween, where, yeah, a lot of people die in that sort of special, like, oh no, over there's one, and then there's another, and it's not a, you know, it's not a really, really violent film either. I mean, there's a couple scenes here and there, but it's, you know, it's like a more, a little bit more violent than Halloween. It even kind of starts out like Halloween, I think, where you start out with a POV and somebody grabs a knife and then they go to stab their sibling and you find out, oh, it's the younger brother, but, you know, he's just pulling a prank. He's not actually killing his sister like Michael Myers. But this movie, you know, it's got the you know, teenagers that are not following the rules. They're supposed to go to a movie, but they end up going to the local carnival in town, and you know, they see all these crazy attractions at the carnival. There's you know, like a magician act where a guy pretends to stab someone, but really it's his daughter and it's her assistant, and they looked at deformed cows. They see a fetus, like a weird-looking fetus in a jar. They also see a fortune teller whom gets angry at them because they're laughing at her, and she's really, you know, she's like a drunk or something, and you know, soon they see, you know, this weird person wearing a Frankenstein mask. They keep kind of seeing throughout the beginning of the movie and being kind of freaked out by him, like there's something to that guy, of course. And you know, they end up deciding they're gonna stay in the Funhouse overnight, and then they find out that Frankenstein mask wearing person is a deformed creature, probably a product of incest. And then, you know, they get caught. Or not really caught, but you know, they eventually get caught, I guess is what I'm trying to say, by the carnies. In particular, the Funhouse carny is the one that kind of ends up, you know, catching them and trying to kill them essentially. And he's played by Kevin Conway, who played all the carnival barkers in the film. And if you're really paying attention, you can tell. Especially, I don't remember, one of them was like a biker kind of guy. You can tell it's all the same guy. But he mainly, the guy right on the cover right here is the main kind of carnival barker. That, I don't know if he's supposed to be the father of the creature or what. I think that's implied. But yeah, he... you know, he's they steal money from him and shit like that. You know, this film is it's pretty damn fun, and I highly recommend it. I think it's underrated, and I think it's one of Tobe Hooper's best films. But it does suffer from a very, 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 very weak second act. And I believe that Tobe Hooper had that problem a lot with his other films. I haven't seen all of his films. I've actually never seen Invaders from Mars, so I'm not sure. I haven't heard the best things about it. But I have seen Life Force, and that film is like the prime example of like, there's no second act, you know. But then he always turns it around, and it seems, and has a very satisfying ending. I mean, I think even Chainsaw kind of does that, you know. But Chainsaw, it doesn't really seem dull as much as it's like allowed to just kind of go crazy and kind of not go anywhere for a minute. And I think that, you know, for some reason he just sort of always ended up doing that. But you can't always do that. Not every movie's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And this film, it's probably its biggest thing is just like the crazy shit in it, like the visuals of all these weird animatronics, these clowns that laugh, and these things he hangs on, you know, just to make you sort of creeped out, or, you know, like totally at, you know, unease of like, why the hell do people do this? I think that's kind of what Tobe Hooper tends to kind of show you a lot in his movies, is like, why do people even do this? You know, it's sort of like you can tell the guy had a lot of weird phobias or something, you know. But, you know, and this movie, like, just the setting of the carnival is, like, really kind of one of the coolest things in it, you know. And just kind of like, you know, that and the creature. I love this creature. I mean, it's fucking bizarre. I mean, the way it... I know that he got a mime actor or whatever to play the creature so he could move in certain ways and react in certain ways. You know, there's something about that damn deformed monster thing, you know, that really gets you in this film and makes it really fun. It's, you know, it's a blast, though. Like, I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm just saying it does suffer a weak second act. But the ending's satisfying, as always with Tobe Hooper. You know, I would give this movie probably 5.5 stars out of 10. I recommend watching it. If you are a horror fan of the 70s and 80s, slashers and you know, Halloween and things like that, you know, all the masters of horror like John Carpenter and, you know, Wes Craven, George Romero, you gotta check this movie out. And don't watch it on cable. Watch it either on an uncensored, you know, cable network, or however, you know. But check out the Funhouse. Thanks a lot for watching. You know, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a subscribe and a like and all that good stuff. I will see you guys next time. Thanks.